Yeah. Oop, I better hit the record button. You're live now.
You're like an old man. You're like, oh, let it hit.
Like an hour later, oops, I never started to record.
I left
Why
the
is
cap
I'll
on the
do it again.
camera.
why is the red light not flashing?
Oh, I left the lens cap on.
Oh, that is what
You guys
Garrock would
are
do.
on camera. Go do your thing.
Hi, Mom. No.
You don't have a mom.
All right, and just to quickly summarize on what happened at the end of last session, the party at last laid waste to the tyranny of Strahd, the devil of the land, the vampire lord supreme, who turned out to be a much more dangerous threat that he revealed during the long months of stalking the party, ascending any sign of danger after their very lives, laughing perhaps secretly while watching from the highest spire and tower of the Castle Ravenloft. But ultimately, the creature was slain. With the dark powers now unleashed, without a master, but there must always be the Dread Lord in Barovia. For otherwise, what will happen to any who are currently within the demiplane? Will it collapse, killing everyone? Will it turn everyone inside out without any chance of defense? The party is about to find out, unless someone takes this spot. We return to the adventurers soon after Strahd's demise, where the dark powers of Ravenloft revealed to have been observing the party for this entire time since they picked the ring, with Sergei's soul sealed within. Sergei has deemed Shasta to be an appropriate vessel. However, it was back some time ago, and he is a fitting vessel no longer, because for the past months he has learned compassion, and unfortunately he has gained some quote-unquote friends. The price for becoming the Dark Lord is for him to forget everything, that he ever had someone to call him a friend, to forget that he ever mattered to someone. With Garok banging on the invisible wall, and Althea barely saved from their demise, with Mordecai postponing the curse, this is where we return to the adventurers.
I will have Garak do nothing as he watches Damses. He wastes his decision to see what he's gonna choose. He looked back at the party.
Does the force of wall? Does the wall of force have cover on top of it as well?
It's a sphere, so it's completely.
Okay, so it's covering him from all angles, right? And also,
Yeah,
quick question: you can dispel force of wall of force, right?
No, you have to disintegrate it.
Also, Damses doesn't have full cover. Technically, you can still target him with spells, but it cannot be like a
No.
projectile.
Oh yeah, I was about to say. Also, you heard it here first, people. Like, if I don't do this, you all die.
Says who?
Alan, he just said it. Alan, what the Dark Powers told Dams us, was that out loud or was it only in his mind?
Which part specifically?
Like about how to what that he's unfit now. Now that he found compassion and like cares for other people.
Everyone.
Everyone, okay. In that case, the first thing that I will do is I will try to telepathically connect to Sergei, or rather the Dark Powers, I suppose, and through the vessel that they now inhabit currently.
Can't we just? Sorry, just quick question. Could you just reiterate to me why we would all die if Shasta doesn't become the Lord of Dread?
It doesn't need to be Shasta. It just needs to be someone.
We can't leave before this happens, right?
Basically, the realm will
course.
collapse in on itself, killing everyone.
Right.
Technically, you can. Mordekainen, at the end of the last session, specified that now with his staff he is capable of breaking through the veil of the Domain of Dread.
Okay, so we'll be okay, but Barovia won't be okay. Okay.
How long before the realm would collapse would Syra have time to get everyone out?
You don't know? You may ask Mordecai, and he seems to be an expert.
Then I will ask Mordecai, and my throat is sore, so I can't do the voice. But I'll ask him, Mordecai, are you able to? How long will we have before the realm collapses?
That is a matter of several days, most likely. But of course, every minute decreases the demiplane of Barovia. I would say that where previously you have seen mists, and the outer regions of mountains and woods have already started to collapse upon each other. I would say that within a day, the closest village, which I'd say is Barovia itself, will be swallowed up entirely.
And we can't be spending time on whether or not Shasta will become Dark Lord. We need to be getting everyone out.
That is sadly not possible.
Anything is possible with the light.
I am able to teleport a small number of people outside of the demiplane now that I have my staff back, but with the dark powers still in control of the mist and the barrier, I am afraid that simple traveling outside is not something that can be done. Only
You
the
are.
Lord of Barovia can do so, and with Strahd dead, there is currently no one to make this decision.
So, God, that sucks.
Was I able to connect telepathically to the Dark Powers, aka Sergei?
Shasta, as you try to connect telepathically, you can sense an immense psychic backlash, almost like Strahd was still standing in front of you. It is only then that you realize that you have been telepathically connected to Sergei for who knows how long. Perhaps secretly, since the first time you put on the ring, as a side effect you were not aware of.
If I agree to these conditions, I have one condition of my own. Before I lose all the memories that I gained, and the feelings and whatnot, I want to be able to send all of these wherever their hearts desire. Is that possible?
The fate of your companions does not interest us. Once you become the Dreadlord, you will see fit what you wish to do with them. But when it happens, your memories will no longer be as they are now.
Essentially, what the Dark Powers are saying is that sure, you can, but only after you make the deal, not before. And since you will no longer have the memories, who knows what you will do.
Oh, that is fucked up, Alan. Oh, that was my condition, though.
They
What the
basically
hell?
said no.
Uh-oh, remember what I said about Grog? He's sharpening his axe.
What are you gonna do? You need the spellcaster.
Your mind
I'm
damn.
gonna teleport within the orb. He can do that.
That is
Oh.
fucked up. That was my only condition, to be able to at least send them away wherever they want to go before I lose the memories.
The Dark Powers are a force of chaos. It is not within their nature to be decisive in such matters. That's why they need a vessel to control a demiplane.
Sarah Langford is conflicted. Okay, Pokemon trainer.
It's chop chop time.
It's like trying to drink water without a glass. Sure, you can use your hands, but you will spill everything.
Oof. That's a good
Fuck, this is
analogy.
such a difficult
You got weird hands.
I mean, I already made my decision in the last 7 days, but this is throwing a wrench into what I hope would happen.
thing is,
but-
even if we kill Shasta, it'll pick someone else. It'll pick Garrock or me or Syra or Ume or Simon. So it's not exactly. It's. Or Mordecai then. I'm just kidding.
Mordecai couldn't.
Yeah, he's too smart. And if we kill Shasta, okay, let's look at this from a logic perspective, right? If we kill Shasta, someone else will become a Lord of Dread. and then what? There's still going to be a Lord of Dread.
Garak would volunteer.
You'd be like, but Althea cares about all of you enough to not want you to be the Lord of Dread, right? And also, on top of that, if we, what was it called? If there isn't a Lord of Dread, which I assume right now isn't possible, the realm will collapse and a lot of innocent people will be killed, but then we're also imprisoning them here anyway. So ultimately, whatever decision we make here does not matter. And Althea realizes that she's a military leader. Like, no matter what choice she makes here in this moment will not matter. Morality is not, like, there's nothing she can do.
Syra realizes the exact opposite, where whatever choice we make does matter, because all these people's lives are fucked otherwise. Sure,
But
they might be trapped, but they'll still be alive and have hope.
they won't die though.
And she really, really doesn't want Shasta to become the Dark Lord because it's Shasta.
But they can't die though. The thing is though, okay, put it into perspective. So why would Syra not want Shasta to become the Lord of Dread? Because if you compare Shasta to everyone else, right, the fate of the Lord of Dread is horrible, right? Shasta and Syra would know this. Why would she prefer Althea, Garok, or Ume to suffer that fate? If she doesn't
She'd
like
prefer
Shasta,
no one had that fate.
okay, but if she had to choose, it would logically be Shasta because she likes him the least.
No, because she knows what Shasta is capable of the most. Shasta has proven himself to not be a good person. No matter how many times he's been like, "Oh, I'm gonna be your guys' friend."
Okay,
Very
but
few
okay,
times.
okay,
He
but
is horrible.
okay,
He
but
never said
okay.
that. He never said he's your friend or he's
Okay.
gonna be your friend.
But whoever becomes the Lord of Dread will be just as horrible as he, because they won't
I
have
don't
any
think so. I
memories.
think it's based on who you were in life.
Not
Like, sure,
really.
you'll become evil, but like compared to what like Strahd in life, again, this would be like in character, but like, in life, Strahd was like a noble vampire lord. He was like, hey, I'm gonna make people suffer through the castle. Whereas Shasta is a wizard, warlock, who likes to burn down churches and kill people for enjoyment. So I feel like he'd be more
I'm a
of an
sorcerer.
antagonistic.
I think
Yeah.
Strahd would be a way worse. I think Strahd is a way worse Lord of Dread than Shasta is.
Okay, this is out of character knowledge. The conditions to become a Lord of Dread are that you do something really, really horrible, and that the dark powers are capable of, like, feeding on your suffering of being a Lord of Dread. So if you do not suffer in your fate, there's not really a point for them to make you a Lord of Dread. And this is why, like, Strahd, like, he had the curse of, like, Arena being reborn over and over
Then
again.
how
and he
did
could never
Shasta
get
get
her.
chosen?
Yeah, that's what I think. That's why when like Shasta was first chosen, like me and Althea were like, "That's not lower accurate because he wants to be the Lord of Dread, so he's not really going to suffer."
But it is. But it is. And if you guys had paid attention also to the condition that Sergei made, or the Dark
Yeah,
Powers
the
made.
condition he made now, but I'm saying like when he was first told he would be Lord of Dread, we were like, "Huh?"
Well, at that
And
point
then
he
all the
already
times
had
he's like,
Uma.
"Hee, look at me, I'm going to be Lord of Dread." We were like, "What? They're
Yeah,
going to
but
choose him?"
You characters don't know that. You might have been, but
Yeah,
But like
in
I said,
character
but
they
at
didn't know,
that
but I'm saying out of
point,
character we did.
at that point, Uma was already his friend, so there was already something to lose.
But Shasta wouldn't suffer the most to becoming the Lord of Dread. Someone like, more good
It's not
aligned.
about the most stuff, but it is what it is. We're in a situation now, and I made my decision. I just wanted to get at you guys, get in some things that you wanted to say or do, maybe. And I also wanted to say, like, if you want to interrupt me at any point, you can do that. You can say something, you can cast a spell, you can try to attack, whatever you like to do. You can interrupt me at any point.
I think what Althea is probably going to do here is go and collect her sisters, leave, and then kill herself.
Well, hold on now.
Well, that's probably what she's going to do. Well, she's
Hold on now.
because I don't know how blinded Althea would be by rage and vengeance that she wouldn't be able to. Because like she's losing so much by trying to kill Shasta, so much. She'd be losing her faith. She'd be losing everything. But if she just lets go and lets Salune take her, she will not suffering it. By the way, Alan, can I willingly opt out of Mordekainen's thing and just go, or do I actually have to kill myself?
Unfortunately, Mordekainen is a sly old bastard, and he makes no such clauses.
So I can't. It's not a choice that I can make. I'd have to kill myself.
I thought it already happened. He already did the thing.
Yeah, here
She
it
did,
made.
but now she's cut off from her goddess.
Yep.
Well, she's going to be cut off from her goddess eventually.
That's what you're saying.
That's
Just
what Alan
believe.
confirmed. That's what Alan confirmed.
Yeah,
Why would
This is
Selune? Why would
There is
Selune?
always a way to reconcile. You never know.
you have to just go on a pilgrimage and pray a lot and make some offerings and all is
I
good
could
in the
cast
world.
ceremony and give you your goddess back. That's the thing that it can do.
So after the Dark Powers gave their answer again to Damsus in his thoughts, in his mind.
Well, that sucks. I'm not... Even if I forget these guys, I don't think I will kill them, though. But still, I don't like this. Is there really no way for me to send them away? Or that you can assure me that I will send them wherever they want to go?
You have means of sending them away through one of your allies already.
Well, yeah, I suppose Mordor kinda can do that, but I'm not sure they would go willingly. That's why I want to force them. Especially Althea. I know her. She's probably considering staying here and constantly chasing after me, making sure this next Lord of Dread also loses its head. I suppose there is no other way.
He would then look down onto each one of you, and like you can see in his face there is confliction, and he has this expression of melancholy and a nostalgia as he thinks about many of the moments that he had shared with some of you. Like with Ume back at the winery when we recovered the magical crystal that the Hags Coven had stolen to do the Blightstree ritual. And Ume approached him and told him that he considered him to be a friend, which confused him at the time very, very much. I, out of character, thought it was like a ruse to distract him, as like Ume said, like he's gonna take care of distracting Shasta. And then he thinks of the time at the Dragon Manor. Like this was right after the confrontation with Syra about the luck dagger, and not the luck dagger, the other one, the short sword that Shasta already knew at the time was the key to the Umbro Temple's inner chamber and how to access the dark powers. He already knew that at the time, and she didn't want to give it to him, so there was this huge argument outside. And later he felt bad, especially towards Althea, and so he had this talk and during the night, like they took a walk outside and they talked to each other, had this heart to heart, and he apologized to her, and she told him that she sees that spark of light in him and that he can do good and that she believes in it. He further thinks on to that time in the tavern when they had that drinking game and shared all these personal details about their lives and growing up and everything. And he also, this memory of that awful, awful hug that happened when everyone hugged him at the same time after, like, he tried to have that private talk with Simon on the outside and you all chased after us and, like, all drunkenly hugged him. He hated that. But it still lingers on his memory. He thinks of that speech that he gave after Strahd had defeated us on the road and killed Irina and even some of you. How he tried to encourage you to not lose your will to fight and to keep on pushing to get rid of that Dark Lord Strahd. He thinks of that heart-to-heart he had with Uma after the Umber Temple, and how he realized deep down when he told Uma about how when he grew up he had nothing, and most of the things he claims he has are not true, and that he only ever had like mercenaries or other adventurers that never meant anything to him or were only with him because of some treasure or some goal, or because he paid them to. And that deep down he wanted friends worlds more than he ever wanted riches or power. And he also thinks about the camping at the beach under the night sky, where we all shared drinks, and how he tasted Althea's home country food. And while he's thinking on all of that, like he looks upon each and every one of you guys. And then there's another memory that pops up into his head. A memory he had suppressed for a long time, that he never ever wanted to think about again. It was right after he had killed the hag that his mother left him with. You saw a glimpse of that during the caves with the hag circle, where they played mind games with everyone. He was raised by that hag, and later, after his patron contracted him and gave him his warlock powers, he killed that hag and left where he grew up with her, and sought out his parents in his village where he was born. It took him some time to find that village again, but he ultimately found it, and when he entered his old home, he saw his parents, and they had a new child. They still weren't, like, they were still poor, and they were still, like, almost starving, they had barely anything, but they still had a new kid that they were seemingly fond of. And that fucked them up really, really badly. And the next thing that runs through his head is just the village completely burning down while he looks upon his deed from up on a hill. And he remembers that he never ever wanted to feel like that again. To be powerless, to be unwanted and having no place in the world. And he looks down to Syra and says,
I know we were often at odds, and that you saw my worldview and character as despicable and sometimes horrifying. You wanted to see what the world was outside the Feywild. Well, now you've seen plenty of the most hideous sides of it. I'll hope that you take that experience with you and grow wiser from it, while keeping that pure heart.
and then he looks to Garrock, and you said Garrock is not punching the wall of force anymore, which is a shame. I like that.
Nah, he's just chilling. He's just watching you carefully. While thinking about chopping off your head.
Garok, let's not kid ourselves. You do not like me. Nor do I like you. I think you are all brawn and no brain. Having said that, I do admire how you recklessly throw yourself into the fray to protect those that you care about. That unbeatable drive. I wish I could be that brave.
And then his gaze goes to Simon. Yeah, like I said, you can interrupt me at any point of this. No, I mean it. I mean it. I mean it.
I go do your thing.
You can attack me. You can say whatever you want. He looks to Simon and says,
Simon, where to start with you? I seriously think that you should fix that drinking problem of yours. I always had a sneaking suspicion that you might be almost as smart as me, but that you fell short by consistently clouding your mind with all that liquor.
and probably at that moment Simon takes another sip, I imagine. And he looks to Althea and says,
Althea would scowl at him, baring her teeth as a tear of blood would roll down her cheek.
Thank you for trying to save me. For always coming to my aid, even when I did not ask for it, nor needed it. I am truly glad that you're still alive. Go and cherish that life more. Maybe let more people around the world experience your cuisine. Because I surely enjoyed it very much.
and he looks to Uma. And like his expression gets worse and worse. He's like extremely saddened by this.
I know this is not what you want from me, Ume. And I'm sorry for letting you down. My personal ambition and foolish dream aside, someone has to take Strahd's place. Better me, someone who the world never wanted in the first place, than any of you. And dread not by knowing this. It does not matter what I have to sacrifice. The time I have spent with all of you will not be for naught. I might not keep those shared memories, but our journey together will still have happened. And maybe one day I will find a way to remember.
And while he's saying these last couple of words, there's actual tear running down his cheek. Like he's not starting to cry, but he feels genuinely saddened. And if there's nothing any one of you guys want to say or do, question mark, question mark.
Althea's shoulders would slowly decline. The rage in her eyes would be boiling, the tears of blood offering her sorrow to the world around her. The Maiden of the Moon, the Pale Priestess, would be defeated in more than just body, and soul as well, as her eyes begin to close. She would look towards the shattered remains of the Blade of the Eclipse, before slowly looking towards Syra. I'm getting my sisters, and I'm leaving this place. I will not abandon my faith, or those closest to me, for this. There is no other outcome here. No light. No goodness. Only sorrow. Only pain.
What of your sorrow? What of your bond, Althea? You made a promise to me.
Althea's fist would clench at the mention of the promise. Our promise begets suffering. I made a promise to my goddess long before I'd ever met you, Syra. As hers, I will and I must keep it. For that is all I am, my faith. I am nothing more than Solune's weapon. And I always will be.
That is your choice. then I must take upon this task alone.
Althea would look towards Nyash, as Nyash would set to the skies, vanishing into the darkness, knowing well what she must do to gather all of the remaining Kalishtar priestesses and gather them. She would basically go and try to bring the priests to Mordekainen if that's possible, Alan. Well, those that survived if any of them died, but she did say be careful and don't fight.
Just for protocol, I would have sent you and the Moon Babes through the mists if I was able to.
Yeah.
Just for protocol.
She's collecting them though.
Yeah, since Mordekainen likely has to do it, we will see.
Ooh. A nice Uber off. And Naish goes, I don't know where the fuck I'm going. No.
I have a
You are able
question.
to-
Is that how your god sees you? Just a weapon?
I don't expect you to understand such a thing, Garrett.
No, I really don't.
I gave my life to Sulune. This is a promise I cannot go back on. This is a choice I have made. I am nothing without my word. I will not die in this world a coward. Will not die in this world a liar. As an Althea would step towards Garrock, and she would place her silvered gauntlet upon his shoulder, and she would offer him a smile, and she would say, I will be alright. And as she says so, she would look skywards for a moment as a familiar shape could be seen fluttering in the shadows above. Althea would smile again, her hand raising towards the emptiness of the skies of Barovia, and from it, a silvered figure would emerge. Talishal, her owl companion that she'd held so close to her. The familiar entity would flutter down a piece of her soul, settling upon her arm as the owl would look up at Garrock, slowly twisting its head to her side. Garrock is willing to fight your goddess.
Yes, he will. He will kick her ass.
Yeah, the only reason Garrock's standing is because of her goddess. So don't start sweaty.
He doesn't care.
Althea would then move to press her head against the owls for a moment, whispering words to her quietly, as she would set Talishal to the sky once more. She would not be going with her. Her owl, a piece of her spirit, would remain in this realm, ever watching over Shasta, ever reminding him, even if his memories were to fade. The mere glance of this owl would always remind him of something.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, I imagine that if he becomes a Lord of Dread, whenever he sees Talishal, he just feels unimaginable sorrow or anger in his heart, and the owl's just staring at him like, girl, I know what you did.
I see you.
I see you, giving him that bombastic side eye, but he can't do anything to it because it's like a hologram spirit.
There's nothing else or no one else, then
Talishal would also, Talishal would like move over towards Damthus, and she would like basically be staring at him, knowing that she's not going away.
Sire will wipe the tears from her eyes, stand up with as much force and conviction as she can bear, point her staff towards Damthus, and say to him, though my sister abandons me in this time, still trembling in her voice, I made a promise to the people, and I made a promise to myself. I will not let a Dark Lord rule this land. Through life and death, high and low, I will come for you, Shasta. Whether it is fruitful or not, I will not let you take a night of sleep without knowing I am coming. I will bring peace to this land. And I will not let you forget us.
Oh boy.
She points her staff straight up to the sky and says, I call out to all the gods of good and just and plead myself to them that I will become their protector of this land. Syra, the huntress of the dark. My
Althea looks
soul is
proud.
forfeit to all who give me the power to stop this man and all who would come before him. And then she speaks right back to Shasta and says, you say that I should see what's beyond the Feywild, and I have. I've seen the suffering that exists, the pain and the evil, and I will not stand for it. If it is my fate to be locked here forever, so be it. The wilds of the Fey can wait. The material plane, unfortunately, will not be my burial ground. This is my purpose now, because of you.
Oh man, I'm so torn. I have a response, but I'm not sure if he would respond that way.
I was going to say, yeah, well, screw you.
Say it. Say it.
Say it, bitch.
Say it.
Syra, I wish you good fortune in the wars to come.
And then he turns to the Dark Powers.
Do it. I agree to the terms.
Sergei moves slowly with his hand, opening to the side, as if to make you grab it. But it is just a poor sinner's hand. Will you take it?
Yeah, Damsos takes the hand.
The moment
I
you
can cast
take his
Misty
hand,
Step and take his hand instead. No, I'm
the moment you
joking.
take his hand, darkness fills everything around you, causing the flames to turn first pale blue, then seemingly disappear in a span of 1 minute, during which the tendrils of darkness which form the dark mist and clouds over you jump downwards like a giant tornado or a whirlwind, entering Shasta through his mouth, ears, nostrils, eyes. As you can see, strange black sludge starting to seep in from every opening, even his fingernails. After several seconds, Shasta, you start turning, twisting, grabbing your stomach and head. You are dying. Not physically, of course. Your sense of self, the memories you have made, you can feel as they are being taken away from you, almost like someone has cut you open and now is tearing apart your innards, something that feels natural, something that is a part of you. Before you lose yourself completely, you understand that you will never get it back. Is it satisfaction or is it regret? No one will know, including you. Because once the storm subsides and the skies start to clear, you feel nothing. You look around and see people you do not know. You look at Sergei as his forms already starts to shake and slowly turn more and more transparent. You feel powerful. You know that this is your domain. This, everything in here, is yours to rule. For some sick reason, you don't feel happy.
He looks down, holding his hands up as he's squeezing them to fists. This is what he wanted. This is what he intended to do. He came here to do this, but how did he achieve it? He does not know. But he feels that power, that surge of. He reigns over all of this. He looks to the side, he sees the owl. He raises an eyebrow, dismisses it, looks down, sees some bearded giant looking half dead. An old wizard who looks like a homeless guy. There's an angel there.
Who the hell are you people? And what are you doing in my castle?
No one. Not anymore. Althea would say is simply to the Lord of Dread.
No one, huh? Well then get the hell out of here.
Okay, Morikainen, we should leave now.
Mordekainen? Wait. You the Mordekainen?
Too late! Everyone grab my hand!
Althea, would Naish come back with her sisters?
Yes, by now there would be almost 20 creatures on the rooftop.
Wow, 20 elves? 20 Kalishtar? Nice.
Shasta, you only have a moment to utter the word Mordekainen before a flash of blue light emerges from his staff. As a teleporting circle, defeating all the time requirements to actually cast it, appears in mid-air, also ignoring the requirements to cast it on the solid ground, enveloping all the creatures on the rooftop aside from you. In a blink of an eye, you see only the empty faces of strangers who stand bloodied, injured, and for some strange reason disappointed. Before they turned into blue mist as they disappear in the thin air.
Would Syra remain?
Sarah, I believe you wanted to go with Mordekainen, no?
No, I'm staying to become the Hunter of the Dark. After a quick moment, after everyone disappears, once again, a more purple and green energy of mist would appear as Syra re-steps into Barovia.
Althea would give a final glance towards Shasta, whispering in Kalishtar in Kori beneath her breath. Al-Diel Shala, she would say. We're stepping into the portal. Talashal, as the mists begin to surround it, would take flight into the skies, disappearing, only to reappear wherever Syra did, as Syra would see a familiar owl fly down from the heavens and join her side.
Perched upon her shoulder.
Yeah.
After everyone teleported away, Shasta Damsas would realize that he's concentrating on Wall of Force for some reason. And he doesn't...
When did I get access to this spell? I suppose this must be possible because I'm the Dark Lord. Wait, I think I should have been able to stop whatever they were doing. Or they shouldn't been able to do that in the first place. Oh well, it does not matter.
And then he looks around and sees, like, the rooftop is partially still burning, right, Alon?
Yes.
I suppose we can get into the epilogue scenes then? Everyone?
Yeah.
Sure.
So this is... Oh, you want to go first? Then go first.
Well, Talishal would remain ever more at Cyrus' side, and Talishal effectively becomes Shasta's Irina. So if in the fight whenever Syra would eventually fight Shasta, if Shasta sees Talishal, he has to roll a check to see if he can cast a spell. That's gonna be Talishal's mechanic. With that aside, Althea would return to a familiar scene, surrounded by her sisters, rejoicing, hugging each other as they would return to the Elysian Isles. A warm place, unlike Barovia, where the moon shines bright and as does the sun. She would have spent the first few days quietly to herself, her sisters checking up on her every now and then, her powers waning each day, until the final end of the month, when the full moon was at its zenith, would she rise to the top of the silver spire of the Castle of Moonlight. She would stand beneath its glow, a dagger of silver within her hand, as she would run it across her flesh and place it against her heart. And she would say to Selune then, "I will keep my goddess to you. I will keep my oath to you, my goddess," her hands shaking as she would raise the blade, and she would look upon the moonlight. What would Selune do?
You do not sense anything. You do not feel anything.
Althea shakingly would look down towards the blade, her breath trembling for a moment as all the memories of Barovia swell through her, like a soldier experiencing his trauma in the war. Her eyes would close then, as she would lift the blade a final time towards the moonlight, and she would say, "My life for you, my goddess," before plunging the knife into her heart, her silvered blood falling upon the tower's grounds as the moonlight would enlighten it.
Althea, you sense as your blade stops, the moment it connects with your skin, as you sense intense pain coming from the handle, the silver turning cold immediately, to the degree that you are forced to let go of the object.
Althea would drop the weapon immediately and stumble backwards, her eyes opening in confusion.
You notice the reflection of the distant moon in the silver of the dagger. You can see part of your own reflection, but the eye that lurks within does not belong to you. You recognize this radiant light that dwells within. It appears that Selune still has plans for you. With trying to fulfill your oath, willing to take your own life despite everything you've been through, you have rekindled the flame that almost turned to embers. You sense as the glory of the Moon Maiden fills your fingertips once more. You might have not fulfilled your pact, but never, it was stated, that it must be a thing that is completed. Can
I'll
you
th-
recall what exactly was promised? What were the conditions of the pact?
Out of character, wasn't it the death of the Dreadlord or whatever? The Lord of Dread.
That's right. There are many demiplanes. Thinking that a single Lord of Dread would satisfy Selune is nothing short of an understatement. You were given a second chance.
And now
all you need to do is find a Dreadlord to help you fulfill your promise.
Althea would look towards the blade, her eyes trembling as tears would fall from her eyes, but not of sorrow, but of joy, as she would feel warmth in her heart once more. What she'd feared more than anything was losing her goddess, and now she was with her once more. That sorrow, that fear, that loss that she possessed faded into something else, determination, as she looked sternly towards the skies. Syra was a fool. To think that she could defeat the Lord of Dread on her own. To think that she could possibly stand against his power when another would just arise, even if she did fulfill her purpose. She would help Syra. She would return to the land of Barovia, but not until she found out how to permanently destroy a Lord of Dread. To destroy the powers themselves. And she would spend months, perhaps even years, upon the material plane, traveling the world to find secrets that might be able to help her, and hopefully, in time, to return to help Syra, if she was even still there. And that would be where Althea's story would lead.
I have 4 different scenes that I would like to describe. Maybe we can interchange them because I don't want to talk too long on all these 4 scenes in a row. This one would be a few hours after Strahd's defeat. Damsas had bent all the remaining followers and servants to his will. And while the fire had done some damage to the castle rooftop, he is an expert in control of that element, and he now also reigns over the weather in Barovia, so he effortlessly managed to extinguish every single flame. And you can see him then taking out his notebook. And I have to remind you that that I have kept posting this like every few times, like during the whole campaign, like him taking notes here and there. And he did take, like, he was not peculiar in like taking notes on what happens, like everything, but he took many notes on, like, especially in the evening hours and such. And he takes out his notebook and he begins he wants to write down like all the first decrees and like the necessary changes he has to make to Barovia and its people and like everything, like ruling stuff. But as he takes out the notebook, he notices something else in his jacket. He takes it out and it's a red hat, like a cap more, with a tassel, just recently having been, albeit with a sloppy job, being reattached to it. And his eyebrow rises again as he heavily questions his recent fashion choices. He dismisses that thought, he doesn't throw away the red hat yet, but he then begins to read some of the notes that he made. Like first on the first few pages, like what some people called Oswald, Cassia, Simon, Uma, Sarah, Althea, and some guy he dubbed Dumb as a Rock. Visible confusion and an ever more puzzled expression forms on his face. He finds notes about the adventures he had with those people, and most of it is written down in his classical bragging, and like the majority is to his credit, like what he achieved or done. and then everybody else would be dead without him. Like, oh, these kind of like things. But there's so much more to these notes. And then later, the scene switches, and you can see him in his newly acquired royal chambers. And yes, Althea, he changed the cheats to get rid of all that Strahd stank. He sits down at his desk, and all the familiars are around him, like doing their usual shenanigans. And he begins reading through his notes from the time he had entered Barovia to the very last entry, the day before the final confrontation. That's one scene.
Okay, just to elaborate a little bit, even if you know everything that happened, you are still incapable of feeling
Yeah, of
a
course.
joy and a positive
I
thing.
will come later on the later scenes to that point, Alan. Don't worry.
More scenes? This is meant to be an hour. Gotta wrap this up. Who's next? Come on, chop chop.
Garak. Well, seeing that Garak we're out of Barovia, right?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, just quickly I would also like it if Althea, Ume, and Garok's path all met again hunting a kraken in the material plane because it held the answer to helping Syra and Barovia. But go ahead.
But yes, Garak would have been thinking about returning to his homeland back in Iceland Dale in the mountains, and try to rekindle the memories that he lost in the past, and maybe the group of people that he traveled with to Barovia. Maybe we'll gain some memories about that, or the time he has went out on seas and encountered the Kraken itself. But seeing that Syra is going back into Barovia to find a way to rid the dark curse itself, and permanently, he just raises his axe and slings his halberd back on over his shoulder and say,
I got more work to do. Let's go, Sarah.
Cute. He's like Reinhardt. He's like Reinhardt from Overwatch.
he is like
I
Ryan.
love it. He's like, duty calls.
Duty calls, yes.
And now he's gonna be like, how do I get to Barovia? He's not exactly a spellcaster.
I asked a random stranger.
Excuse me, how do I go to
Barovia? Or he's having this. He's having this speech next to one of his friends, and his friend just goes, "Do you even know how to get to Barovia?" And he just goes, "No."
I
Be
think it's
like,
this way.
I
North
suppose
is
by
always
foot.
the right direction.
Wait, you know what he could do? He could seek out Althea because she wants to return to meet and greet.
Probably take some time before you finally revive Barovia again. And then while Syra getting harassed by monster, Garak just comes out and like,
Aha, I'm here to save you.
Syra's dead at that point. Who's next?
I can do my next one.
oh,
No, it's Syra. Someone else.
It's Uma. It's Uma's turn. Go ahead and say your thing, Uma.
Okay, hold on. Ume, where were you? I had 12 children to feed these last few months. I married your cousin.
Oh, so does that mean I am no longer wanted here?
You bastard! That was not the reaction I was expecting. Why don't you learn to be a good father for your son, Sanjay?
I am a good father. Look what I brought. It's milk.
Tears would burst from her face. She just said, "You are not lying. You really did go and find milk. But I need flour now too. I'm making a cake for Brinjetta's birthday party."
Oh well, I'll be right back then.
Okay, my dear, have a nice time. She would go and kiss Umi on his bald head.
And Ume did not return for 20 long years.
12 months later receives bald man found fighting Kraken.
It is the Kraken of Flower.
I'm about to go and ask him.
Prim J has another 4 kids with Ume's cousin.
So after being teleported unwillingly back to, where were we teleported to?
Wherever you want to.
Yes, Mordekainen would originally go to the Sword Coast, but from there, you are free to go wherever you wish.
In that case, after stepping foot in the Sword Coast because of Mordekainen's magic, she'd first take in a breath of this material plane Sword Coast air, note it down in her memory of just how great it was. Not as good as Feywild air because, you know, pollution, but then she would turn around instantly and tell him to send her back.
Okay.
As Mordekainen then uses his magic to once again break the barrier of Barovia and send her back.
He would teleport you back to where his old shack used to stay, in safety far away from the castle.
And damn, he told you to walk.
I think he knew that I was in no state to fight him right then and
Yeah.
there. So after reappearing in this, we never actually saw the inside of the shack, so she's like, where am I? Until she goes outside and is like, oh, this is what it looked like? She would then spend like a couple months recuperating herself, building up this shack to be a proper abode, and then spending as much time as she can with the people of Barovia, helping them, rebuilding their homes, and establishing as many churches and like groups of worship that she can, not to her or her god or anything, just to try and help bring faith back into this land, to see if she can attract the attention of anyone that would listen, amassing a following of capable fighters that hopefully would be able to help her in taking down Shasta. She would spend probably like years in this realm, having to fight off Shasta's forces every now and again. Every time she calls him Shasta, he's like, who? Because he doesn't remember being called Shasta, probably. Does he remember being called Shasta? Or is
It's this long-lasting alias. Like it's I can post it. It's like part of my background thingy.
Oh, so
like
he didn't just call himself Shasta in this land then?
No, it's like a Let me post it. It's like a made-up thing, like an alias. Like the charlatan background gets like many aliases and stuff, and
Right.
he has like papers and everything, like all the documents to
Okay,
prove that
well
he
in
is
that case,
person.
she'd still call him Shasta, and he'd be like, I'm Dark Lord Danthus. Every time they would meet, they'd clash. She would fail, but she'd get away. Maybe losing an arm or something, I don't know. And after years and years and years of building up the people of Barovia, keeping peace as best as she can, she goes back to her little hovel, her little shack in the woods that the people of Barovia had helped keep concealed from Shasta's power. She would lay in her bed, her little like floor bed, because again she's a horse. And through a slight rumble and magical pulse, something would happen. And next time Osira looks around, she would see a familiar face. A familiar moon-ridden face. And just say to this familiar figure, so, did you fight the Kraken? And that would be Syra's story.
And Simon died of dysentery and consumption.
He just messaged me. He woke up like 5 minutes ago. He said, but I told him to join us to tell us about Simon and how he ended up and everything, and he just told me, it's okay, just tell them that he'd be okay as long as he travels freely. telling lame jokes to people he meets. The Dog Wanderer.
And what would Alan do?
There is no Alan.
Yeah,
Sorry,
What would
Alan.
do?
What would Alan do?
Alan would ask what was the second scene of Damsas.
Well, there are 3 more technically, but 2 of them are a little bit shorter. I can add them up into one if you bear to listen to all my talking for this long, I suppose. So this is like 2 days after Strahd's defeat. Alan, interrupt me if you disagree, although then again, it is my headcanon. I make up the rules now because I'm the Lord of Dread.
Wait, doesn't Shasta just become a DM character now? So technically he's Alan's character now.
What? No!
I mean, yeah, that's how God works. You lost your character.
So this is like 2 days after Strahd's defeat, and you can see the halls of the castle, and there's no like banners with Damsa's own royal symbol, and like you see like a dimly lit throne room, and at the end there's a huge throne made out of obsidian, and then a 4-legged person comes closer and ultimately stops in front of the throne on which Damsas, the new Lord of Dread, is sitting. And the person who entered the hall is none other than a centaur that awfully resembles that other one that he saw 2 days ago, and who disappeared in front of him. But now she's here again, but she looks slightly different, sort of off. And it's Murasira, who is visibly crumbling and slightly beginning to break apart. I need to turn down the music a little bit. It's a little bit loud. And she has an audience with him, even kneeling before him, and she tells him about the offer that he made her in the Hag's Coven's hideout. Out of character, during the fight, Shasta was telepathically connecting to Murasira, and he offered her a deal, which she ultimately failed on. Like, Alan had me made some like persuasion checks, and I failed those, but she ultimately still ran away, and I made her the offer. I thought she would appear with Strahd again, but she didn't. So this is me making this up now. She tells him about the offer that he made her, and he then responds that he doesn't remember any of it. And so she begins to reiterate like what had transpired from her perspective. She conveniently leaves out the part where the Demon Lord Fraz Ublu made Damsas grovel before him. And after she tells him all about her escape and how she got away, he then ponders a little bit before he reforms the deal he proposed.
Well, no man of my word. I suppose even of a word I don't remember. But before I make you, I suppose, permanent, is it? You would have to prove your use to me. And also, in my notebook I read some notes about this... What was she called? Syra? I don't like anything I wrote down upon her, so... I really hope that you're not even remotely close to being like her. But we will see.
And then she swears loyalty to him as the new Lord of Dread and ruler of Barovia. And then some weeks and months later go by, and you can see Damsas clothed in an ornamented royal coat. He's moving through the halls of the recently renamed Smoldering Crow's Keep with a wine bottle in hand. And he looks fatigued. His facial hair now not only consists of a devilish goatee, but also a very unkempt stubble. And there's also the imp Zar. He strolls right behind him through the the halls. And the tiefling begins to mumble to himself.
Why? Why? Why don't I remember? I know all about them. He should mean something to me, but he doesn't. He just doesn't, and I don't know why. Why?
And he slams his fist into the wall, like knocking off a portrait of, like, a painting he had been made of himself. He then turns and yells at Zar.
Tell me again. Tell me about this, Ume. I want to know everything again.
And then Zar tries to, via telepathic speech, tries to tell Damsus about, because Zar didn't lose the memories, he still has them. He's his own entity. But he's an imp, so he tells him, like, about the party, like, in his own impish words, like, when he was present and not being killed by the DM. He tells him, like, stories and how Uma was and everything. But it doesn't help. The thought of knowing, but not remembering and not feeling is so much worse. So him having kept that notebook is making this much more awful to him. Months go by. Barovia are now fully under his charge and his iron-fisted rule. Statues have been erected in his image in all the cities and villages. And every now and then there's public burnings of people who broke the law. And everyone who had ever dared to mention a certain Shastan, the last crow, had been severely punished, taxed, and humiliated in front of friends and family. Yeah, Alan, you too.
How would Shasta feel about the rise of religious churches in his land?
Oh, he totally intends to squash that wherever they pop up. So I don't know about they probably had to be like hidden churches or like not obvious ones. But he doesn't like the fact that there's like worship other than to himself being encouraged. And he hears about the are there rumors about Syra, the center?
Probably they would arise sooner or later.
And he would probably put two and two together from his notes that this is likely the very same. I don't know. I don't want to take any agency away from you, so I'm hesitant to elaborate further. Just that he.
Sire would definitely attempt to try and create like in-your-face kind of churches, just one to fuck you, and also because the more people see the churches, the more people are more likely to follow them, you know?
Also,
Yeah.
And then after seeing that, oh, they're just getting killed, she would then, first of all, have her own church up and away from everyone, that we'd have to be like invite only, like, are you on the list? And then also would have more undercover, more like covens than proper churches opened up that would be closer to like underground religions.
Yeah, I like it.
also, every now and then Talasha would just go stretch her wings, say, I'm gonna go for a little bit of a walk, I'm gonna go for a little bit of a fly, Sarah. Sarah would be like, alright. She'd go fly around Shasta's room while he screams, What? What are you? And then
Why
she'd
is
leave.
it that every single time I go somewhere, no matter where I go, there's a stupid fucking owl looking at me, and I can't even kill it?
And then it just flies away, just tortures Shasta for fun and then flies away. Also, one of the things I wanted to reiterate, because me and Dylan were just talking about it, when Syra and Althea finally meet again with Garrock, Garrock has probably not changed much because he's an undead, right? And Althea's pseudo-immortal because of Mordekainen's thing, so she would have been unchanged as well. And then they would just see Syra being like this withered old centaur woman who like smiles at them softly. That's so fucking heartbreaking to me.
Syra is bloodied and bruised, scarred. Her hair has not been cut. It's like down to her hooves at this point. and she's just with a light smile is when she's like, "So did you fight the Kraken?"
Oh, that breaks my heart. Like she would just see Althea, this like almost as if Althea had literally walked out of her memories, like completely unchanged. Like it's like Freerun from Journey's End. Oh,
Yeah, that's why it's like a familiar moon-ridden face.
yeah. Oh,
You're just
like
looking exactly the same.
yeah. Oh god, did you guys watch Freerun, the Journey's End at all?
I
Not
don't
yet.
think so.
I don't
But
It's
think
so
I
good.
have.
you need to message me how that's called so I can look it up later.
It's so amazing. Me and Chris are watching it right now.
It saddens me too because I was hoping for like Syra goes back to the Feywild, confronts her mother and everything. Man, I was looking forward to that.
I was looking forward to that too. Yeah, so was I. But nope.
It's so funny
Stuck with
too
your ass.
because we kept talking about how Althea would become like the hunter of Shasta, but it was Syra who became the hunter of Shasta instead.
I have a few more sentences in this. Like he was traveling and everything. So the Lord of the Smoldering Crow's Keep is like traveling the country, like, and he has this entourage of like fiends and knights. He's overseeing his decrees if they are followed and lived after, which they're not because they kept building up these churches that he has to burn down. I guess it's getting kind of like a gimmick of his. He did make a few good changes though, and he definitely made life easier and safer in Barovia. Like, hags that were found were eradicated. No child has been abducted by neither witches, werewolves, or vampires. The Lord of Barovia is then seen traveling to the Umber Temple. Since he also had some notes about that, he wants to seek it out. And he stalks the temple ruins, finds the great library, and he begins to search the books about a topic, about other Lords of Dread. And one book especially piqued his interest. It speaks of the Whispered One, the Undying King, another Lord named Vecna. How he somehow managed to not only escape his domain of dread, but also on his many attempts and ultimate success in ascending to godhood. And Dempsas then utters under his breath, and his eyes begin to seemingly get reignited in a red and yellowish glow.
To think, all this time, I thought I was aiming at the sky, while I was merely sitting in a hut looking at the ceiling.
And that's it. That's all I have.
Alright. Garok, would you be adding something to your epilogue?
Nah, I'm good.
Althea would give old Syra the longest hug ever, squeezing her tightly as a tear rolls down her cheek, and she would whisper to her, "I'm sorry I broke my promise to you."
So
As long as you're here, the promise is still in place.
Roll credits.
We can keep going, Alan.
We set up for another season. This is setting up for another
we
season.
first have to see if the investors are in this, and then if
Yeah,
the ratings
exactly.
are good.
Exactly.
Spin-off season.
I'll
And,
start
like,
making the teasers for the next season.
This officially concludes the campaign.
I'm not ready. I'm
God,
not ready
God.
to say goodbye.
God, there's so much porn of our characters on Twitter. Like so much. All these weird ships were that popular.
This is a great anime.
This is a great anime. There's so much.
I wasn't sure about the Mirror Syra inclusion. How do you feel about it, Alan? How do you feel about it, Syra?
I thought she was destroyed, but honestly, whatever.
I love it. She's his Babala Saga, effectively.
Oh my god! Mirror Syra is his Babala Saga!
Yeah.
She's one of my channels. Yes, Alan?
I prepared few little epilogues for the characters the party has met based on how the story unfolded. Can you see them on the screen?
I can't.
Oh, I totally wanted to ask you to
I
Wait,
can
you
only see the
see-
names. I can
Yeah, I
only.
can only see
reveal
the
them as
name.
it says them.
Oh, okay.
cool, Alan. Thank you.
Oh, that's
yeah,
so
do that.
cool.
Oh yeah, I totally missed it. Lady Wachter, I wanted to make her, like, I keep her as the Burgomaster. Since she provided me with the word of the Packkeeper and everything. Like, she's in my good graces. Oh, wait. Only from my notes. I don't know of her, so... But go ahead, Alan.
We can read it one after another.
Oh.
It would be nice if every person were to read another paragraph.
Oh, I like it.
So, starting from Ismark. As some of you may recall, he was the brother of Irina. He became the new Burgomaster of Barovia. The memories of his father and sister, tormented by Strahd, left him forever cold and bitter. Unfortunately, with this torment he did not have a quote-unquote happy ending, but maybe he lived to an old age. Who knows? It depends on Shasta.
Father Donovich. Never met the guy. Where Strahd's influence weakened is lycanthropy was cured in the Abbey of Saint Markovia. Oh, no, I did met the guy. Well, I don't remember him. After the abbot has left, he became the new head of the community of the Mongofolk. Ultimately, he found peace and a new life, helping those in need whenever possible, and possibly allied with Syro.
Most likely, yes. Someone want to read the next?
Lady
Lady-
Wacht. Okay.
Go ahead.
Lady Wachter kept her position as the Burgomaster of Wallachia, quickly pledging her loyalty to the new Lord of Dread. Time has yet to tell if her actions in switching sides will be rewarded or punished.
Blinsky at last became rich making toys, creating a limited line of figurines based upon the group which defeated Strahd. His toys made their way across all the Demi-Planes and the Sword Coast, in time making their way even to most obscure places, like the Nine Hells. His craft may have improved, but all were still very much cursed.
Oh my fucking god, I love this. We have our own toy line. Imagine this, like action figures of Garok and like a fear. Oh, I like it.
1 second. Blinsky made toys that got to the Nine Hells. Do we know of a...
It would include one, at least, person in the party who defeated Strahd using an Infamiliar.
Wait, you're saying that Schleppdoll is based on Tsar?
No, let me see. Oh my gosh. I was
I'm
actually.
not saying anything, these are different games.
Well, you did say you wanted to have Strahd pop up. Sent him to the house.
The Abbot, what's happening with that bitch?
Garok, do you want to read this one?
Nah, I'm good. My internet is messing up. So I'm cutting in and out.
I'll do a funny voice for it. Once the veil of Barovia thinned with Strahd's demise, he was able to leave the plane of Mount Celestia. Slain by the sword of judges, which cleansed his soul and allowed him to be reborn as a Celestian of lesser power, but without flaws.
Ooh. So he's no longer a big guy.
Interesting.
Probably like a Deva now or something.
The Motricos. Oh, you want to go ahead, Alan? Go ahead.
To those that were in charge and the winery.
Oh, they are the family of were-ravens. I heard about them, but we never encountered that they are.
The family of were-ravens were never found out for what they really were. Secretly, using their raven forms, they were delivering false messages to Strahd forces, making Escher and Drahadim miss the party on several instances. They were working behind the scenes this entire time.
And now they are helping Sarah. as well.
Hell yeah.
Yes, they definitely would.
Oh, this one I'm curious about. Van Richten and Esmeralda. With Strahd dead, the teacher and the student decided to leave to another demiplane, trying to bring downfall of yet another Lord of Dread. Sounds like an Althea goal. Why not earning fame during the Battle of Ravenloft? Yeah, that didn't help us at all. In a book written after the event, Van Richten will explain how the two of them destroyed Strahd's sarcophagus during the final confrontation. So you'd have no means of regeneration if the party were to fail, or the Sunblade were to be lost.
Ooh.
Yeah, I wondered about that. Like, and during the final fight, I was so worried that Althea would die or fall unconscious or like be out of range when we kill Strahd, and he would turn into mist and like quickly go to the sarcophagus.
For those who do not recall, Victor is the son of the Burgomaster of Balaki.
Yeah.
He tried to teleport out of Barovia, but well, the veil, the mist, prevented him, and later he was imprisoned for his own sake in Van Richter's tower. He was finally able to teleport out of Barovia after Strahd's death caused the veil to weaken. He became a scholar in Candlekeep, keeping his past a secret. In time, his dark urges will lead him to learn of necromancy and take interest in becoming a lich.
Motherfucker.
That's one for Sarah.
The Revenants. With Strahd's death, all revenants would become spirits able to walk across Barovia for several days before passing into the afterlife, making their farewells and at last being able to see their faces of their family members, now old and shriveled. They pass away into memory, in peace. Thank you! The Revenants lived in peace. Well, died in peace.
This one you know. Mordekainen gathered with friends to play House and Humans, and then he buggered up to the Nine Hells for the business known to him only.
Did he finally get married to Bigby?
They're just roommates.
Yeah, I was about to say, what are you talking about?
Sorry, my bad.
And last, but not least, the last and the least, Madame Eva, who you may recall is the person who gave you the prophecies several times. Althea, would you like to read this one?
Madam Eva, continue to lead the Vistani across the demi-planes of dread. Her true nature as a half-sister of Strahd has been kept in secrecy, and her magical potential was not revealed to the outside world. She was the first choice of the Dark Powers when Strahd's demise came close, but she refused them every time.
What a twist.
She was
Please.
his half-sister?
Yes.
She was a Vistani?
That makes
Law-wise,
sense.
it is,
That's yes, I'm good.
law-wise, it is the second most powerful character in Barovia.
Oh.
Oh.
Makes kind of
Not
sense
anymore.
that they are able to travel across the demiplanes, because I don't know if any of you guys remember, but when we met them again and like she told us a prophecy for how we met Strahd, like I was like in chat when I become the Lord of Dread, there's no more free travel for the Vistani through my plane, like through this domain of Dread. I imagine I am not able to stop that, like in character, right, Alan?
No, Strahd wasn't either.
Alan, I did want to say... Huh? Who left? Little bitch.
Before
Anyway.
you say your last thing, I have one more request towards you.
Yes?
Would you please sing Shasta the Red one more time?
I forgot the lyrics for it.
Well, I don't remember them either.
I probably have recorded it. I don't know. I'll look.
Oh my god, you shocked. You should have clipped it.
Yeah, you should.
You better hope that I didn't delete it.
Well, she can always sing it again.
Okay, well, hold on. I gotta get the lyrics on.
Oh, I do have a short video to show you.
Yeah, go for it, Alan.
I wonder if the link will work through the chat in the game.
Wait, is my voice in there?
No,
Oh,
but
it's
it is
singing
very quickly.
memory.
Oh.
Oh, this is cute.
Oh, Alan.
Oh, cute.
Oh, Alan's YouTube channel. I'm gonna hit subscribe. These are
But yeah,
scenes never seen before because those are the other guys, the guys
Yeah,
before
I haven't
us.
seen it either.
Like Cassia is there and Ozzy is there, Uma and Simon. Wait, they also met the spirit guy, the deaf guy? Alan, did you make screenshots of the sessions and everything all the time?
no, I tried to reenact them, so it's probably far away from what it actually was.
Oh,
Oh,
it still
that's still a lot of
counts.
effort,
Like
though.
it's still your
That's
memories
more
and
effort than
everything.
taking screenshots.
Yeah. That's really cool, Alan.
Oh, I was gonna say, Alan, thank you so much for this campaign. As someone who's never played D&D before, this was my first D&D campaign, and you made it like a wonderful experience for me. I always felt really comfortable, and I always felt really happy to explore my character, and I've really had a lot of fun. This is a amazing experience for a first time campaign or D&D anything, because previously I've never played D&D before ever.
Oh, there's Syra when she casts daylight.
Yeah, I wanted to say something similar. Not just to Alan, but to all of you. I know that like we're missing Uma and Simon, and like also Cassia, who you guys. Syra briefly met her, but um, thank you, Alan. Thank you for being such an amazing DM, and thank each and every one of you for the memories. Because even if Shastan, the last Chrome, will not remember, I will, and I will hold a lot of these memories like dear to my heart as long as I live. It was I was tearing up earlier today thinking about all of this, and I know I'm a very difficult person and often like it's hard to deal with me, and I'm sorry for the difficult times, but I'm very very grateful, and it was such a joy and such a pleasure playing D&D with you guys. I I have not much more experience than Anna when it comes to D&D. I barely joined an almost finished Monday campaign on Alan's server when I got invited by another person, and then I joined this campaign at level 5 over a year ago, like a little over a year ago, and man, it was a blast. Thank you so much, Alan.
Thank you, Alan. You're the best.
Okay.
I've been playing with Alan for like over 3 fucking years.
Shall I sing us out then?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well,
Unless Sarah wants to say
yeah,
something.
yeah, and Alan as well. I'll let Alan respond as well.
Yeah, I have had many a DMs during my many years of playing D&D, but Alan has been like the best I've had, and this has been a great experience. Oh, the campfire! I'm still watching the video. It's
Yeah,
very
me too.
emotional.
Oh god.
This was a great time every week. The lead up between Monday and Friday, and when we were playing Wednesday, I was always so happy to play.
His entire day was ruined if he didn't have D&D, by the way.
someone be like, I'm canceling. I'm like, that's fine. I don't mind. But it's been a great time playing. And Cyro's such a fun character to play because I like playing more of my Elytra characters, like bad bitches that get things done. So Cyro was a very antithesis to what I usually play, but she was still really enjoyable.
Oh yeah, Dylan would constantly complain. It's like, I hate Syra. Like, because like, she's so opposite to what she would do.
But yeah, thank you so much.
Aha, you gotta thank me because I was the one who introduced you to the server.
Let Alan speak. Shut up.
And thank you too.
Okay, I'm back with my food. What did I miss?
You too, Alan. We still have Monday. Although that's ending soon as well.
I gotta pop off soon though, so here you go. You ready, Shasta?
Yeah, always. You can also hit the record like you do sometimes, and like send it to me as a message.
Sure.
And sometimes when I cry myself to sleep, I will listen to it.
Oh, Garrick's recording, so you ready?
Ready.
There once was a hero named Shasta the Red who came riding to Barovia from old Baldur's Gate. And the braggart did swagger and brandish his blade as he told of bold battles and magic he'd made. But then quite did Shasta the Red when he met the shield maiden Althea, who said, "Oh, you talk and you lie and you drink all our meat. Now I think it's high time that you lie down and bleed." And then so came clashing and slashing of steel as the brave lass Althea charged in full of zeal. And the braggart named Shasta was boastful no more when his ugly red head rolled around on the floor.
Okay. Oh shit.
Not sure that's the song he wanted.
The best.
It is.
Oh.
It's that song that she sang before.
And she pointed his blade at his throat. He was never more turned on and angry. See you guys later.
I see ya.
Have
Bye-bye.
a good one, everyone.
Wait,
Uh,
Alan, what does Alan have to say before you leave?
That was a good song? Like, what are you going to say?
Yeah, it was a nice song. I really don't know what else to say.
Oh,
Alan isn't like he's not that kind of guy. He's not getting emotional.
I-
Like there were
I
so
gotta-
many sad scenes in One Piece. He never cried at those. He will not be teary-eyed with us now.
See you guys.
I see ya. In a Nets campaign.
in not Baldur's Gate, in Dungeons and Dragons, The Revenge of Delacroix.